You're watching Your View.
Thank you for joining us. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Hey, great friends. What's happening on a Tuesday? For those of you that are listening to the show on radio, on 1090, on terrestrial airwaves, glad to have you guys here. For those of you that are watching on YouTube and you're involved in our YouTube chat, awesome. Glad to have you guys as well. Make sure you get involved in the conversation. And then for those of you that are tonight watching on TV on Your View Channel 4, that's in San Diego and in Santa Barbara. And if you're in Orange County or Palos Verdes, Channel 118. So, and oh, by the way, for everybody that listens on audio podcast, that's like, yo, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Amazon Music. What about us? I'm sending you guys love too. I'm just saying that radio, YouTube, TV, and then audio podcasts. I mean, we're practically anywhere you might be. So I think I told this story, but I was at a girls' soccer tournament years ago in Orange County, and I'm walking around the soccer field, and there's thousands of people, and everybody's got their phone, and nobody has a transistor radio anymore, right? Why would they? Because everybody's getting everything they need on their phone. And I thought to myself, we got to stop worrying about just being on radio, and we got to be everywhere that people are, and they're all holding their phones, and they can all get YouTube, and they can all get TuneIn, and they can all get us on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or Cited or wherever. Like, we got to be on everybody's phone. And so that's kind of the philosophy. Here we are in 2021. Grande Alejandro Padilla, mi hermano numero uno, 805 in the house. What's on your mind today? What do you say?
What's on my mind today? Star Wars Day is on my mind today. I'm not like the biggest Star Wars nerd. It's just always a fun conversation to see people argue about which Star Wars trilogy is the best, which obviously it's the original. And then what else is on my mind is I'm wearing this Lakers hoodie because they had a big win, but damn, do they got work to do. Ooh, the schedule. Oh my. It's not just who they're playing, it's how they're playing. It's going to be rough for the Lakers, man. Rough.
Yeah, like I definitely feel better about the Lakers today than I did yesterday, because when you lose to Sacramento and Toronto, you're in big trouble. And then you come back and you beat Denver, and LeBron's not playing and Schroeder's not playing. That's a very good win last night for the Lakers. But I'm still of the opinion that they're in big trouble. Like, they're in really big trouble right now. So let's say good afternoon. Could be good evening, depending on when you're watching or listening, to a man who brings the street cred from the 7 Mile Casino podcast shed. Big Brown, what's on your mind, dog?
You guys are funny how you're impressed by a win that really did not show off anything other than the fact that they just won a game. Like, there's nothing special about the Nuggets. Like, they don't have anything on their roster that the Lakers can't defend or outplay. So I just, the excitement for the wins are just weird around here. It's just really odd.
Let me ask you a question, because the way I described it on the podcast, it's one single win, but it's the entire whole of what's happening with the team right now. It's you're coming in, losing 5 of 6, lost 3 in a row. You're coming in with no LeBron, no Schroeder. And then you're going out playing the Clippers on Thursday, the Blazers on Friday in a back-to-back. So imagine you don't win the game. You've lost 4 in a row. Imagine you don't win the game. Now you got to go back-to-back, probably without LeBron on one of them, against the Clippers and the Blazers, and then you play the Suns on Sunday. So when you say how big of a game is it, is you gave yourself a tiny bit of a cushion, because now you're in 5th place by yourself again, because the Blazers lost last night as well. So when you say, yes, it's just a win, completely agree. But in the magnitude of the past 3 to 6 games and then what's coming in the next 4 to 5 games, it's a huge win.
Yeah, and just to jump on that here, I'll just throw this at you, Browner, but I'll just jump in here and throw this at you. Had they beaten Sacramento and had they beaten Toronto, but then lost to Denver, let's just say, at least they would have won the games they're theoretically supposed to win. And remember, they had LeBron and AD back, and they lost 2 games that they're supposed to win. Sacramento and Toronto are not playoff caliber teams, okay? And all of the teams that they've got coming up, as Alex just mentioned, Phoenix, Portland, the Clippers, these are good teams. So by losing those 2 games, but then without LeBron winning this game against Denver the way they did, that's the other part of it. They had a big lead And Denver chipped away at it in the fourth quarter, and Denver very much had a chance to win this game. So not only did AD hit a shot late in the game, and he also made a huge defensive play, a block at the end of the game. I'm not saying that it changed everything. In fact, I'm still of the opinion that the Lakers are in big trouble, but that win last night was much, much needed.
When they play a team like Portland, who provides issues for them because how good they are at guard, and the Lakers aren't on the Lakers' best asset isn't their guard play, but the Blazers also have big men who can help contend what the Lakers do best, which being Anthony Davis, Andre Drummond, not LeBron James specifically, but Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum cause problems. I think they match up very well with the Clippers. I think that's a very even game. So whoever performs the best that night will win that game. I also think they're going to beat the Suns. I see the Suns and the Nuggets in the same boat when it goes against the Lakers. What the Lakers do best, the Suns kind of do best. Pick and roll, and then they have Booker. The Lakers have bodies to guard Booker. Chris Paul is old. He'll fall apart. I'm not worried about him. And Anthony Davis is better than Ayton. Andre Drummond can physically impose his will on Ayton. So the Suns don't provide any issue. They're record-wise, they're better than the Lakers, but they're not better than the Lakers. So those two games, I'm not really worried about those.
Well, I thought one of the most interesting things that came of last night's game, and this is why one of the reasons I thought the Lakers were in big trouble, and I still think they're in big trouble. We'll see if LeBron can get back and how good he is. But here's the thing. LeBron is not right. AD has not been right. Schroeder is all of a sudden out. Drummond is someone who has not really played with them enough yet. McLemore is another guy. Yeah, and he was terrible. And McLemore is a guy who just got there, and he's kind of hot and cold. And I just kind of figured that all of these pieces coming, going, injuries, COVID-related stuff, bunch of losses piling up. I just thought these guys, they're in big trouble here. I also thought one other little thing that was under the radar was Kyle Kuzma publicly saying that he wanted Marc Gasol to play more. I thought, now that's interesting because while LeBron's out, what is Kuzma all of a sudden going to become the talkative leader of this team? Because, man, I just didn't think that at where he is in his career, his opinions about who should be playing were valued. And last night after the game, the media actually spoke to Marc Gasol, who had a really nice game. I mean, he contributed in a huge way last night with 10 points. So Marc Gasol comes off the bench, who's been rarely used because, since Drummond got there, but Drummond was kind of played off the floor late in the game. He just didn't have anything. So after the game, they asked Marc Gasol about Kyle Kuzma's comments that he should be playing more. You got this, Alex? I want to hear what Gasol had to say.
No, I was not. He mentioned something after the game, but I was not aware. I told him I'm fine. On that Mr. Wolf role. You just come in whenever things don't go great and kind of help everyone. So I accepted it. I'll try to do as best as possible at that role, and so yeah.
Okay, now hold on a second. Now, I was watching this post-game press conference last night. Alex, I know by this time you were probably recording the Taco Tuesday podcast for the SB Nation website, silverscreenandroll.com, which, by the way, give me one quick timeout and I'll talk about Marc Gasol's comments. But, Alex, you should show everybody, especially those that are watching on TV, the website for silverscreenandroll.com, because it's really, you talk about all of what we got going on happening in one place. Alex does a podcast for this SB Nation website about the Lakers. Then they post the podcast on their website, silverscreenandroll.com. They have an article that describes what's happening here in the podcast, and then they post it for you. And then down below, Alex, who wrote this question, who's going to win on Thursday, the Lakers or the Clippers? That question gets actually embedded onto their website. And then, Alex, you can see the results of your vote, okay? But if you click on the question, watch what happens thereafter, because people wind up having the conversation about Alex's question right there on the website. So this is super cool, and we're really, really stoked about this. And publishers around the world, frankly, I believe are going to ultimately be using this software because it keeps people on their site longer, it keeps them more engaged in their content, and helps them make more money. So that's awesome work, Alex. Thanks for that, man. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, nice. You're a nice guy. Nice manners, by the way. You're a hell of
Nice
a nice
manners.
guy. Yeah, you said
Thanks.
you're welcome.
That's
You're a hell of a nice guy.
yeah. Thanks. That's Mama Padilla right there.
There you go. Shout out to Mama Padilla. So back to Marc Gasol, though. I hear him say, I'm going to be like Mr. Wolf, and I think I know what he's talking about. Browner, what does he mean, Marc Gasol? I'm going to be like Mr. Wolf. Who's Mr. Wolf?
Listen, I don't pay no attention to what that garbage man says. Good for him. He played a couple minutes last night. Inconsequential.
So by not really knowing who Mr. Wolf is or what he's referring to, you just decide to beat up on Marc Gasol rather than just have this conversation about what a phenomenal teammate and role player he has chosen to become. You can't even have that? No? No respect at all?
Okay. Phenomenal role player? No. He may be a great teammate, absolutely. The Lakers have a great roster when it comes to guys who get along. They've got a lot of good professionals on that roster. I'll give them that 100%. Role player? Nah, bro, I'm good. I'll pass. That's all you.
I don't know what the knock is on Gasol, but okay.
Do your thing, LA. Do your thing,
Okay.
LA.
So who's Mr. Wolf? Alex, when Marc Gasol says that he's going to take the Mr. Wolf role, who's Mr. Wolf?
Well, I know who it is. But do you want me to? Are you asking me, or do you want me to say who it is?
Say it. Because I know what I thought when I heard Marc Gasol. I was like, he's going to take on the Mr. Wolf role. The only Wolf that I would think he'd be talking about would be Winston Wolf from Pulp Fiction. Does everybody know the scene from Pulp Fiction? Like, did everybody because I think he stumped a lot of people in the media, and they were like, Mr. Wolf, you mean like the wolf from Pulp Fiction?
I don't think they were expecting that reference from him. I think that's what it was. Like, this 7-foot Spaniard referencing Pulp Fiction is not something you see every day.
Yeah.
Or hear every day.
Right. And so the scene is it's like one of my favorite scenes in one of my favorite movies. So, you know the scene where Jules and Vincent, they are driving down the road and they accidentally shoot and kill the guy in the back seat, and they got to get off the street because they blew the guy's head up and it's blasted all over the back window. And they're like, what the hell are we going to do now? Because remember, Browner, did you see Pulp Fiction? Or are you with me on this or not?
Yeah, I saw Pulp Fiction. Great movie. I've seen all Quentin Tarantino's movies.
Okay, so remember when they hit a speed bump or something, or a bump in the road, and Vinny's got the gun, focused on the back, and they hit the bump, and he shoots the guy, and he blows his head off. You remember this scene?
Something to that, yeah.
So they got to get off the streets, and Jules is saying, "Come on, man, I got to get off the streets." And he goes, and I even think he said something like, "I don't have any partners in 818." He didn't have anybody in that part of town. But then they get off the road and they go to Quentin Tarantino's house. Remember? Nobody remembers this. Nobody's with me on Pulp Fiction.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
I know, but you see, it's the kind of movie that I know so well, like the back of my hand, that, Alex, do you know the movie well?
I know exactly the movie.
Okay. All right. So at least I'm talking to somebody who's with me on this. That's cool.
Listen, all I remember is where you're getting to is the Mr. Wolf coming in a tuxedo. He starts drinking some coffee, and he looks at Tarantino like, pretty good.
Like this. He goes just like this. He has the coffee cup because they've already discussed now that this is really good gourmet coffee, because when Bonnie buys the coffee, she gets regular stuff. But when Quentin Tarantino buys the coffee, he gets that gourmet stuff. And Jules actually like, damn, Jimmy, this is some gourmet stuff or what? And when Winston Wolf comes in, he drinks the coffee. He actually puts his index finger under the mug, takes a sip, and then gives him a compliment with his eyes, like, really good. He didn't even. So, but the scene that precedes it is Samuel L. Jackson calling Marcellus Wallace. I don't want to hear anything out of you. All I want to hear out of you is, you ain't got no problem, Jules. I'm on the mofo. Go back in there, chill them brothers out, and wait for the wolf who should be coming directly. To which point, Jules said, you sending the wolf? And that's when Marcellus said, feel better, mofo? And then he said, Ed, that's all you had to say. And that, Browner, is one of the all-time greatest Samuel L. Jackson scenes. And when Winston Wolf shows up and he says, hi, I'm Winston Wolf. I'm here to solve problems. They're on the phone with the guy at 6 o'clock in the morning. He's still at a party from the night before, and he zips over to save Jules and Vincent Vega. That's Winston Wolf. That's Mr. Wolf. He solves problems, and Marc Gasol is now the Lakers' Winston Wolf. What do you think about that, Browner, Mr. Hater?
Sir, the fact that you just tried to tell me that is the best Samuel Jackson quote, I just dismissed everything else you said after that. You got to be kidding me. What? Have you not seen Jungle Fever? Huh? Have you not seen Samuel Jackson in Jungle? I don't expect you have seen that. Samuel Jackson plays a crackhead with one Holly Berry in Jungle Fever. It is amazing. You need to check that out. It's Samuel Jackson's best scene. He is a dancing crackhead in Jungle Fever with Holly Berry, by the way. Okay. It was a beautiful crackhead.
I would say that unless Samuel L. Jackson does not utter the term mother effer, then it's not a good scene.
It's in there. It's in there. It's in all his great scenes. It's like his
I think I read an article saying that Samuel L. Jackson has uttered the F word, more than any actor in Hollywood history.
Who's keeping
really?
track of that?
They keep metrics on that. Really, they have data.
I think it's like I think it was like Nate Silver 538. Some nerd did it.
Nerds, man, they ain't got nothing else better to do.
Isn't it in his contract that he has to at least say the word F at least once in a movie? Because even in the Marvel movies, he's about to drop the F word and they cut away from him. So like they always put it in there.
Maybe. Marc Gasol's not gonna do anything special for the Lakers this season. This was a waste signing. This was a chance to see if he still has something left in the tank. He clearly doesn't, and he'll ride the bench for the rest of the season. He's good on the bench because he's a good teammate, as you stated before, which is true. But he won't contribute.
Well, here's what I said about the Lakers, though. But here's really what it comes down to. Frank Vogel is not scared to bench an entire unit when the playoffs when it comes to the matchup. There was a time last year when the Lakers played the Rockets in the playoffs, and guess who didn't play? JaVale McGee. Guess who didn't play? Dwight Howard for the whole series. Right. And guess who did play for whatever reason that series? THT. That was the only time he even made an appearance. So Vogel is not scared to sit guys, and he's also not scared to play guys. And I appreciate that about Vogel because you have to go with the matchup. And that's when you develop this depth that is actually to your advantage, is when you have guys like a Drummond, you have guys like a Gasol that most guys don't have. So I think it's smart by Vogel to get him in the regular season before the playoffs come, build that confidence, build his cardio up because that dude was gassed after 5 minutes. So I think it was all in good. It is a good piece to have, but he's not a major piece of the puzzle.
But he could be a contributor. That's the thing is I just think he could be a contributor because if you bring him off the bench like you did last night when most people weren't expecting to see him on the floor, dude, he put up 10 points. He made some really big baskets last night, and he played really good defense.
He'll do that against the Suns as well. Watch, he'll do that against the Suns too because the Suns have a lot of bigs in their rotation. But when it comes time to win games against better teams, he will not be effective. Like the Clippers will slice him up.
Dude, he's a role player. That's all I'm trying to say is that he played his role well, and then he fed us something in the post-game press conference that I thought was very interesting. Because the only other Mr. Wolf that I was thinking of was CSI Miami when Horatio Kane used to always call the guy that worked for him Mr. Wolf. That's very interesting, Mr. Wolf. I don't know why, but nobody probably knows CSI Miami like I do. So anyway, hey, listen, give me 1 minute. And because I'm still going to get to the Padres, the Dodgers, a bunch of baseball stuff and so on. Give me 1 minute, though, to just talk about a brand new sponsor on the show, and that's HES Solar. You guys remember Spencer Holt, who used to work with us at 1090? He was an account executive for many years, great account executive, as a matter of fact. Spencer left 1090 years ago, and he went to work for HES Solar. And so many people now are choosing to stay in their homes. That's why the real estate market is so hot, because there's so little inventory. People are staying in their homes longer than ever now. And they're choosing that. Again, I think a lot of people think that they're going to still work from home in the coming years. I happen to think people are going to go back to their offices. But that being said, if you are tired of paying these ridiculously high electric bills with SDG&E, in particular, you need to call HES Solar. Here's Spencer's phone number directly, 858-699-0760, 858-699-0760, or you can email him, Spencer@HESsolar.com. So it's not just for your home, it's for your business as well. In fact, they've done a lot of big restaurants like the Brigantine, their corporate headquarters, San Diego Yacht Club. They are a licensed Tesla dealer. So for those of you that want the Tesla installation in your home, HES Solar, if you're thinking solar, these are the guys to talk to. 858-699-0760. That's my man, Spencer Holt. You call Spencer. He's a great friend. You're a great friend. Let's do a beautiful thing, baby. Okay.
Baby.
Coming up. Yeah. Coming up. We spent this whole time talking about basketball. Lakers. Crazy. Marc Gasol, contribution, win last night over Denver.
Thanks, Mark.
Coming up, though.
Yeah, we spent 50% of the time talking about the Wolf.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was related, wasn't it?
That story had legs, man. That story had legs.
You ain't got no problem, Jules. I'm on the mofo. Go back in there, chill them brothers out, and wait for the Wolf, who should be coming directly. That scene right there is why I named my daughter Julia. She's named after Jules.
No way. No.
I swear to God. I swear to God. I
really
swear
wish
to
we had
God.
said that earlier.
All right, stick around, everybody.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
Kaplan and Crew tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
Catch Kaplan and Crew Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. If you've listened to Scott Kaplan the last 20 years, you know one thing. He likes to stir up some A new generation of radio. The all-new and mightier 1090.
We have a term for typical cheese-filled, grease-covered, regret-inducing takeout. That's why dinner from El Pollo Loco is always fire-grilled, freshly prepared, feel-good food. The $20 Familia Dinner from El Pollo Loco.
I've been a part of this community for a long time, and giving back is what we do. That's why I'm so excited to tell you about the San Diego Giving Back Raffle, a benefit for Ronald McDonald House Charities of San Diego. Grand prize is this $4 million luxury home, or you could win a car, vacation, or cash. Everyone is guaranteed to win a prize. And you'll feel good knowing your raffle purchase goes to help families like the Lechugas. Get your tickets now for the San Diego Giving Back Raffle.
Don't worry, Gracie. The curtain only goes up when everyone has a part to play. Whoa, okay, I gotcha. Uh-oh, whoa, watch out for those audio cables. I'm gonna be sick. To the left! I am not going out there without Gracie.
Neither am I. A little help?
No pressure.
It's time to eat like you won't always be wearing elastic waistbands. With Pollo Fit Bowls, made with organic super greens from El Pollo Loco.
Time now for Kaplan and Crew tonight's Community Connect.
Shelter to Soldiers selects dogs from shelters and rescue groups all throughout California. Our ideal candidate at Shelter to Soldier is 8 months to a year and a half old. They're confident in different environments. They have strong social drive. Another motivator like food or toy drive. And ultimately, these are dogs that want to have a job and that have a greater purpose to become a service dog. Currently, about 85% of our dogs pass their service dog training. But if they don't pass, they become a career change. We don't like to use the word failure around here. So career change to an emotional support animal, or if that doesn't work out, then they career change to a pet dog, still finding a loving placement and purpose in life.
We are in the hope business. What we do every day And what we've done for 40 years is to provide kids and families going through critical illnesses hope that tomorrow's going to be a better day. My favorite wish is the next one, because that is the power of our organization, is to bring hope to kids who are going through something right now, and hope can't wait. So people can get involved now by donating resources. They can donate in kind. They can donate their time as volunteers. They can donate dollars, because kids are still getting diagnosed with illnesses that qualify for Make-A-Wish every day. So people can visit us online at sandiego.wish.org. They can visit us and follow us on social media. There are so many ways to get connected, and people can help in many, many different ways. We need your support now more than ever, because illness doesn't take a vacation and it doesn't take a break because of COVID-19.
Rich Eisen here, inviting you to catch my show, The Rich Eisen Show, on our flagship radio station, the Mightier 1090. We're on every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to noon Pacific time. You'll like what you hear. If not, that's just, I guess, too bad.
A new generation of radio. The all-new and Mightier 1090.
Adios, love handles.
Adios, couch.
Adios, Quarantine 15.
Say adios to the quarantine bod with Pollo Fit Bowls, made with fire-grilled chicken and organic super greens from El Pollo Loco.
Stanton Optical is an optical retailer that provides eye exams and glasses for every budget. At Stanton Optical, we offer a comprehensive eye exam. That means we don't skip any testing in order to give you the best exam possible. It is very important to have an annual eye exam to check and monitor the overall health of your eyes. The first part is our pre-test, where our patient care specialist will take you through the exam using our state-of-the-art technology and equipment. What separates Stanton Optical from other optical retailers is our extremely competitive pricing and our cutting-edge telehealth technology. A telehealth exam is a comprehensive eye exam that utilizes telecommunication technology to remotely communicate with the optometrist. This allows us to effectively and accurately provide an eye exam without direct contact with the doctor, ensuring maximum safety protocols. To schedule your appointment, just go to stantonoptical.com and choose the location that best suits you. Come on in and we'll see you soon.
We have a term for typical cheese-filled, grease-covered, regret-inducing takeout. That's why dinner from El Pollo Loco is always fire-grilled, freshly prepared, feel-good food. The $20 Familia Dinner from El Pollo Loco.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
It's time for a 60-second timeout. San Diego women's track had a strong showing last weekend. Sophomore Gianna Sparborough broke the school record in the 5K with a personal best time of 16:46, breaking the previous record of 16:52 set by Andrea Hughes in 2017. Senior Kate Kohler and sophomore Sydney Avery recorded personal bests in the 800-meter race, while senior Jessica On finished the 800-meter race with a time of 2:13, taking second and setting the third fastest San Diego all time. UC Irvine women's water polo fell just short in the Big West Championship last weekend against Hawaii with a final decision of 9-8. These two teams had met in the championship on 3 straight occasions. Hawaii has won the last 2. In all 3 matches, the game has been decided by a single goal. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by YourView. Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on YourView or stream it online at yourview.com. Doing More is brought to you in part by the San Diego Food Bank.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Hey, great friends. Yeah, whether you're listening on radio, you're watching on YouTube, or you're watching on TV, or you're listening on podcast platforms, Kaplan and Crew back onto the airwaves along with mi hermano numero uno, Grande Alejandro. You seemed very stunned by my last statement that my daughter Julia was named after Jules from Pulp Fiction. And the reason we even had this conversation was because Marc Gasol said after the Lakers win last night that he's the wolf.
I do not think that that is an accurate statement, what you just said.
Now, John Browner, I hear you snickering. Big Brown bringing the street cred from the 7 Mile Casino podcast shed. You also don't seem to be buying this story.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. No.
I promise you both, and this is where we left off. I said at the very last second, I said, oh, yeah, and by the way, Jules, the scene in Pulp Fiction, that's where I came up with the name for my daughter, Julia. Mm-hmm. And it was just as we were getting ready to go to the break, and Alex said, wait a second, stop, hold on. You're telling us that with 10 seconds before the break?
So you're telling me.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're telling me that you ran out of names after 3 kids, that you went to a Pulp Fiction reference and your wife was okay with it?
And not even the name Jules, Julia. Like that doesn't doesn't connect. Sorry.
Okay. Let me just backtrack. I'm going to give you my truth here, dog. I'm giving you my truth. Okay. If this works for you, buy it. If it doesn't, don't. But this is my truth. Okay.
Browner loves that. Browner loves saying this is my truth.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
this is why I'm using it back on him.
Alternative facts.
I'm using it back on him. Here, Browner, this is my truth, Browner. Okay. It may not be true, but it's my truth. I love the movie Pulp Fiction. And the one scene in particular is when Jules, Samuel L. Jackson, calls Ving Rhames, Marcellus Wallace, and explains to him that they're in big trouble. They need help. They need somebody to come help them because they blew some guy's head up. The car is a disaster. They had to put it in somebody's garage, and they have no way of getting to where they're going to go because if they drive the car with blood all over it, some cop's going to pull them over. So Jules says to Ving Rhames, Marcellus Wallace, he goes, all I want to hear out of your ass is, you ain't got no problem, Jules. I'm on the mofo. Go back in there, chill them brothers out, and wait for the cavalry, which should be coming directly. That's what Samuel L. Jackson said. And then Ving Rhames said, you ain't got no problem, Jules. I'm on the mofo. Go back in there, chill them brothers out, and wait for the wolf, who should be coming directly. And Samuel L. went, you sending a wolf? And Marcellus said, feel better, mofo? And that's when he said, yeah, that's all you had to say. So I'm a huge fan of the movie. I'm a huge fan of the scene. I love the name Jules, right? And I say to my ex-wife, we got Justin, Jillian, Jaden, and we need a fourth J name now because we're having a fourth kid. I want to name the child boy or girl because we didn't know. I want to name the child Jules.
Nah.
And she told me, if we name a boy,
why?
Well, I told her, I said, I've always loved the name Jules. I like that you can abbreviate Jules with, like, if your name is Jules, you can call him Julie, Jules, whatever. Right. So she tells me if we have a boy and his name is Jules, he's going to get beat up every day at school.
True.
And I said, I don't know about that. I love the name Jules. How about Jules for a girl? No. How about Jewel? No. How about Julia? And then you can call her Jules. And that's what we decided on. If it was a girl, Julia. And then for a boy, we had Jack. Turned out to be a girl, Julia. I call her Jules all the time. So does everybody else. And now the dog is Jack. So that is, Browner, I'm telling you, that is straight facts, homeboy.
Does she know? Does this 14-year-old girl know that she's named after Samuel L. Jackson character?
Has she seen the movie?
Yeah.
She probably has not seen the movie. She 100% knows she's named after the Samuel L. Jackson character because anytime she needs me, she'll be like, Dad, I need something. I'm like, you ain't got no problem, Jules. I'm on the mofo, always. So yeah.
So
she
when are
knows.
you gonna sit her down?
Mhm.
Because I know Pulp Fiction's up there with violence and craziness. So
Mhm.
when are you gonna sit her down and be like, Julia, it's time for you to know who you were named after?
She knows.
And you pop on, but
yeah.
but to see it is a different story. Like,
Yeah.
you name me after that guy.
Mm-hmm.
That guy.
It
Not even
explains a
girl.
lot. It explains a lot.
Yeah.
It explains a lot, though.
It's a really good idea. I should sit her down and just say, hey, you know what? Let's watch Pulp Fiction together because this is where I came up with your name. And then she'll, at the end of the movie, she'll be like, so you named me
What is your
after a
problem?
gangster who shoots and kills people.
And likes
Dad, what's up
burgers.
with that? Yeah. This is a tasty burger. Sure is.
I'm not sure if I'm still buying it.
You know what?
I'm
No,
really not buying it.
His truth, I accept his truth. Because the route that he took to get to that name, I could understand that. That makes a little bit of sense. But when he tried to say, oh, it doesn't matter if it was a boy or a girl, he was going to name it Jules, I was out. I was like, nah, you lost me there. But as he progressed the story, that sounds accurate.
All right, let me say this. Marc Gasol, my man, thank you, sir, because I really didn't care that much about you coming off the bench and scoring 10 points and helping the Lakers beat Denver, which I was surprised that they did, and I know we've been talking about it, but it's the comment after the game of I'm going to be the Mr. Wolf of this team that sparked this conversation. So shout out to Marc Gasol. I do want to get to the Padres and what they had happen last night, what they may have happened tonight, and we'll take a look at what's going on around the NL West in our daily, standings watch. So stay tuned for that. Just give me 1 second to send a shout out and love to my people from the Total T Clinic. Guys, I tell you all the time, you get a little older, your testosterone levels naturally drop. It doesn't happen for everybody, but for most guys, that's the case. Okay. So when your testosterone levels drop, you all of a sudden are like, I don't feel so hot. I'm tired all the time. I have no motivation to work out. When I do finally work out, I don't feel strong like I used to. And my libido is nowhere like it used to be when I was a much younger guy. Fellas, that's probably low testosterone, and you should get it checked for free at the Total T Clinic. If I told you that it would cost a lot of money to go get your testosterone levels checked, you'd be like, yo, dude, I'll just be slow and tired, sluggish. But it's free. It's completely free. Just make an appointment. It takes 15 minutes. And if your testosterone is low, a treatment of testosterone can absolutely change your life. All of a sudden, you have a strong sex drive again. You are motivated and feeling good and feeling strong and feeling positive about yourself, and you're not tired. I'm just telling you this. Take me up on this. It's free. Total T Clinic, TotalTClinic.com. Book an appointment at the Total T Clinic. All right, Browner, you're driving that Padre bandwagon. Good victory last night. Good win. Padres were being no hit through 7 innings. You're like, what's going on here? And they found a way to scrouch out a couple runs and shut out the Pittsburgh Pirates. Not that they're some offensive powerhouse, but still, anytime you shut somebody out in baseball, I think it's a big deal. And the Padres got that dub last night. So good win. Here's the good part for the Padres, the way I see it. They beat the Dodgers in that series going back to last weekend, okay? Then they come out of that weekend series against the Dodgers, and I'm trying to recall who they played because San Francisco this past weekend, they win that series. And so when you're starting to put together some series wins against NL West opponents, that's what I was talking about, is winning these kinds of series. You can't drop 2 out of 3 against Pittsburgh. You got to take 2 out of 3 against Pittsburgh. You can't be swept by Milwaukee at home. You got to win that series. You got to salvage a win in there somewhere. All of this Padres, these wins are coming at the exact right time because we obviously have seen the Dodgers and their struggles and the injuries and their bullpen and the lack of hitting and the inability to manufacture any runs of any kind. So this has been a great week to 10 days. If I had to go back, I don't have the schedule sitting in front of me, but Padres take 3 out of 4 from the Dodgers. There was an in-between series. I can't recall against whom.
Arizona.
And then it was 2 games against Arizona that they split. And then they came back and took 2 out of 3 against the Giants and started the series against Pittsburgh with a win. So the Padres are banking some wins at the right time, particularly while the Dodgers are struggling. So good start to this series against the Pirates. Although I don't know who's pitching after 1, 2, and 3 at this point. I mean, once you get through Darvish and Snell and Musgrove, yeah, I don't know who's after that.
No. Listen, I don't want to get into this thing when we do what we did yesterday more than once a month. I don't like it. I think it's unhealthy. And the fact that we can't seem to, I don't know, find a guy who was a top prospect in our organization to get on the mound when you need him and the opportunities are open. I just don't really, I don't want the arms in the bullpen as to become taxed this early in the season, because they don't want Blake Snell going past 5 innings. They don't really want Weathers going past 5 innings. So now 2 times a rotation, you're going to have at least 4 relievers on the mound. So I don't want to do what we did yesterday. Throw somebody out there who can give you 6 innings, and we'll go from there. Find them. Hey, Preller, guess what? This is part of your job too. Not just spending somebody's money, bringing in big-time guys. There's also going through the bargain bin and finding guys, or going through your farm system and, I don't know, finding your top pitching prospect and putting him on the mound. If he hits a couple people, so what? Like, what?
What if he gives up 8 runs?
Then he ain't the guy. We already got one of those. We already got one, Chris Paddock. So at least I would know, at least the fan base would know, and at least the Padres organization would know this kid isn't the guy.
You already know.
Well, you
already
don't know.
You said earlier.
I do.
In the show that this guy sucks and he has never pitched an inning for the Padres.
I do. You know what? Listen, here's a great example, Alex. You know what? You know who Gore is? Gore is that girl who you date. She's bomb. She's a little crazy. She gets a little too drunk. She gets wild at the bar. You're never gonna take this girl to meet your mother. 0, none, nada. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. You know why? Because she will not be accepted. That's who Gore is. Gore is great. The idea of him is great. He ain't never coming home. He ain't meeting nobody. You ain't never see this kid pitch. Not in a Padre uniform at this level. Not productively. I just don't believe it's going to happen.
That's a really weird analogy. It was a strange analogy. You know, she's
works
hot,
though, if you think
she's
about
bomb, she's
That's right.
drunk, she's fun at the bar, but you'll never bring her home to mom. Whereas Mackenzie Gore is your top prospect. He's down on the farm trying to work it all out because you need him eventually. Actually, you could use him right now, but he's never going to come. He's never going to be invited to meet your mom, huh?
How about this analogy for you, Browner? How about Mackenzie Gore is like that randomly hot person that you match up with on Tinder.
I don't
and you're
have
like,
that.
damn.
You're
You're like, damn, look at this. Like, she's so hot. She's a great prospect of what I could possibly get. But right now you're just DMing. You haven't even met yet. You don't know if you're getting catfished yet. You don't know what's in front of you because you've never met her yet. But she's real hot on Tinder. Her profile picture is really looking good. And you scroll through all her Instagrams. You're like, damn, this girl's hot. But you don't really know her yet because you never met her. I think that's better now.
Hey, bro, listen, I pick up all my groceries in person. I don't have nobody shop for me. I'm good. I pass on the Tinder and the plenty of fish, coffee meets bagel, all that. I'm good, bro. Now I get out and I do my own hunting.
Yeah.
What do you think, Scott? Whose analogy is better here?
I like yours much better, Alex. I like your analogy much better.
Get out of here.
Thank
what?
You.
The idea of Gore is far more important and better than the actual person. I thought mine was better. Whatever.
Let me say this though about Mackenzie Gore. Here's the thing that interests me. Who declares the number one prospect in your organization? Is that an organizational thing, or is that like an outside observer, like Baseball America, whatever that means?
Outside observers.
Okay. All right. So you're Baseball America. You're this publication about baseball. Does it even still exist in hard copy? Probably like most magazines.
Well, probably not.
Yeah. But you're Baseball America. Okay. And you're saying, look, here's the Padres organization. Here's what's, in the farm system. And based on where this person was drafted, where they played high school or college ball, how old they are, maybe minor league accomplishments, whatever the case may be, they come up with some equation that ultimately brands somebody the number one prospect, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And they rank these prospects. Because Mackenzie Gore has this this label.
6th overall.
Yeah, he was the 6th overall pick. I'm trying to remember. He played
Top.
college ball. Where did he play college? Or was he out of high school? I thought he was a college player. But the point is this. He's considered their top prospect by an outside observer. And that outside observer is saying, based on where they were picked, based on where they played, based on, arm strength or number of pitches, whatever, they've come up with Mackenzie Gore's the number one prospect. Well, if you're the number one prospect and you're not like fresh out of high school and you're not 18 years old, if you're the number one prospect in the system, and it's been like this for a couple of years, as I recall, at this stage of the game where you feel like you're a real playoff contender and you're battling for first place, granted it's early May, and you've got 5 starters in the rotation, and 2 of the 5, I should actually say 3 of the 5 really, because I'm thinking about Paddock, Lamet, and I'll throw Weathers into that. Between the 3 of those guys, one of them's got COVID, or at least is on the COVID exempt list, and 2 of them are hurt. And what's the likelihood that Weathers and Lamet come back this year and both are long-term productive based on these injuries that they're dealing with? I don't know. Lamet doesn't look good.
They said Weathers isn't a surgical situation. They said that was more like a
dead arm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you might see him more long-term.
Okay, good. Dead arm means rest the dead arm and bring it back to life. Okay. But Lamet, I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, I don't have a lot of confidence that Lamet is going to return based on him being out at the end of last year and then him trying to come back this year and pitching 2 innings and he's already hurt again.
Yeah, and then the fact that Tingler says, I think we're going to start him on Sunday, doesn't start him on Sunday, and then you have these open spots and it's not starting him in either spot. So, yeah, you would think so that something's fishy.
So then if the number one prospect in your system is a starting pitcher and you can't get this kid up to the major leagues, then, again, A, something's not right, and B, why is he still the number one prospect? You see, to me, that's the other part of it. We all expect, hey, he's the number one prospect. Bring him up. Put him in. But I guess
the list comes out before spring training, and then you go from there. But I mean, is it that difficult to understand that the kid's just not ready yet, regardless of ranking? How often do you hear rankings?
What's ready?
Luis Campusano is the 37th top prospect in all of baseball. He came up here and he was garbage. So what do you want to take from that? CJ Abrams is the 8th ranked prospect in all of baseball right now. Are we calling for him to come up right now?
No. There's nowhere to play him.
Right. But what I'm saying is, Campusano wasn't ready. He was forced to come up here because of the Nola injury, and it was clear that he wasn't ready. So why can't we just accept that Gore's not ready? Why rush him up?
I guess
just because Weathers had success?
Well, I think in part it's because the need is there. In other words, if Lamet were healthy and Weathers were completely healthy and you had a strong 5-man rotation and you felt really good about it, then you wouldn't have the need.
We're not there watching the guy struggle. If he's struggling at the training site, if he's struggling at El Paso, why bring him up to struggle here?
Well, no. I'm not saying bring him up to struggle here. I'm saying that Browner, unfortunately, might actually be right, which is he's not ready. That's fine. But the question of will he ever really be ready is certainly something that I think people are starting to question. How old is Mackenzie Gore?
22.
Okay. And so, listen, Weathers is 20, I think, right? Or 21. Mm-hmm. Mackenzie Gore was drafted in what year? I don't have this stuff sitting in front of me, but
me neither.
Alex, I know, but you're pretty good at quick research,
My problem is
because
this is what my problem comes in.
This
guy's been in the farm system for roughly 3 years. Yes, roughly 3 years. If he's not ready now, and Weathers has already come in and passed him up, I don't really understand what process did Weathers go through that you were able to put him in a playoff game that Gore can't even make it out of spring training. And you're going to tell me he's not ready because he can't throw strikes. If you can't throw strikes, you're not a pitcher.
No, but Alex's point, but what Alex is saying is that if the organization knows he's not ready, they're feeding him to the lions by putting him in the den. And then what they're worried about is multifold. The kid and his future and his head and the fan base, and the confidence of the fan base.
Yeah. I think there's that the ranking is messing with people's minds. Pitchers come up in different ways. It took Chris Paddock 4 years to come up, and he looked like he was the next big thing for a year there. He was the opening day starter last year. So yeah, we now know that he's not that good, but every pitcher is different. Why are we like, I understand the comparison. I understand the lack of patience because it's been 3 years, but really every pitcher comes up differently. And if they're telling you he's not ready, he's not ready. I don't get why you would want him to come up if he's not ready.
If you scared, get a dog. Okay. If the man can't,
I got a dog. I'm scared.
If the man's scared to come up and play, then then I don't want him. You shouldn't want him, because what happens when the moment get too big?
Well, I don't know that he's scared to come up and play as much as they're scared to let him come up and play. Listen, it's an interesting conversation. You know, a guy's a number one prospect. The team at the major league level needs more starting pitching. And the number one prospect is, according to the way it's been written by Baseball Insiders, is just not ready. And that leads guys like me and Browner in this case. Alex, you're much more even keeled. It leads guys that are much more emotional to start to think maybe he's not ever going to. And it's still obviously super early in his career. He's only 22 years old. But when you're the 6th pick overall and the team has need, why is he not ready is the question. And then you say, well, he's not ready because he ain't good enough yet.
He trade bait. That's all. He trade bait now.
All right, stick around. Coming up, I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers and what's going on with Aaron Rodgers, because the Denver Broncos seem to be the favorite now. And if the Broncos don't get him, where's he going to go? I'm going to talk about this Aaron Rodgers situation coming up next. Stick around.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
Kaplan and Crew tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
Hey, Dave Smith here. Make sure you listen to my show on the Mightier 1090, 6 to 10 p.m. Saturday and Sunday night. The only local sports talk in all of Southern California on the weekends, right here on the Mightier 1090.
The all-new and mightier 1090.
It's time to eat like you won't always be wearing elastic waistbands. With Pollo Fit Bowls, made with organic super greens from El Pollo Loco.
The Olympic Games, where the eyes of the world will turn to Tokyo for the greatest show on earth. Catch all the action leading up to the Olympic Games on Countdown to Tokyo every Tuesday on Your View. You'll get the latest news on preparations for the Games, details about the sports involved, and in-depth insights into teams, athletes, and the host city. Don't miss Countdown to Tokyo, Tuesdays on Your View.
From fitness to medical technology, explore how people are leading healthier lives on Your Health. Join Erica Cardenas as she introduces you to health experts and discover how our daily choices affect our well-being. Plus, learn simple tips for healthier living. Your Health, Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on YourView and YourView.com. Only at Stanton Optical can you get same-day eye exams that test your vision and eye health for under $50. Stop by or call us at 1-800-STANTON. Eye exams are provided by independent eye care doctors.
We have a term for typical cheese-filled, grease-covered, regret-inducing takeout. That's why dinner from El Pollo Loco is always fire-grilled, freshly prepared, feel-good food. The $20 Familia Dinner from El Pollo Loco.
Kaplan and Crew tonight presents Sports in a Minute.
We're taking a look at some college softball in today's Sports in a Minute. San Diego State softball swept New Mexico last weekend. Maggie Ballant tossed 2 shutouts in the series. Ballant had 14 strikeouts with 3 walks over her 2 appearances. She allowed only 2 hits in a complete game in the finale. The junior has notched 7 solo shutouts on the year. She was named Mountain West Pitcher of the Week on Tuesday for her efforts against the Lobos. The Aztecs have won 11 of their last 13 games and are now 25-13 on the season. They'll be visiting Colorado State this weekend. UC San Diego softball got the series win against UC Riverside with a walk-off home run in Sunday's finale by Kinley Cairo. Pitcher Robin Wampler completed her 7th complete game of the season, allowing only 3 hits with 6 strikeouts. UCSD takes on CSUN this weekend at home. I'm Haley Stasiak. That's your Sports in a Minute. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Hey, it's Pharrell here, inviting you to catch my shows on the Mightier 1090. We're on twice every Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. and 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific. Trust me, all the other sports stations are sleeping with your wife.
The all-new and Mightier 1090.
From fitness to medical technology, explore how people are leading healthier lives on Your Health. Join Erica Cardenas as she introduces you to health experts and discover how our daily choices affect our well-being. Plus, learn simple tips for healthier living. Your Health, Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on YourView and YourView.com. Only at Stanton Optical can you get same-day eye exams that test your vision and eye health for under $50. Stop by or call us at 1-800-STANTON. Eye exams are provided by independent eye care doctors.
The Olympic Games, where the world's best athletes will compete on the most prestigious stage. Catch all the action leading up to the Olympic Games on Guide to the Games every Tuesday on YourView. The series examines the qualification process, the history of the Games, and the teams and athletes that are expected to shine, plus information about the rules, events, and competitors. Don't miss Guide to the Games, Tuesdays on YourView.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on YourView or stream it online at YourView.com. Sponsored by The Barnes Firm, partnering with Shelter to Soldier and saving lives 2 at a time. Visit thebarnesfirm.com/shelter to soldier and help save more lives. Let's take it up a notch with Kaplan and Crew tonight's Premium Boost, powered by the Mightier 1090.
San Diego is a great place for deep sea fishing because it's home of the largest sport fishing fleet in the world. You can go on a half-day trip, a full-day trip, multi-day trip, all the way up to 18 days to catch tuna and wahoo, or just locally here to catch yellowtail. When booking a deep sea fishing excursion out of San Diego, there's several resources, and of course, the San Diego landings have great web pages. Seaforthlanding.com, fishermanslanding.com, PointLomaSportFishing.com are the perfect resource to book your next fishing vacation out of San Diego. What you need to do to have fun in the sun while you're out fishing is, of course, you'll have to obtain a California fishing license or a Mexican fishing license, depending on where the trip goes, and then get set up with tackle. All the landings have all the tackle for rental, and they'll give you all the guidance on the boat for catching a lot of fish here in San Diego. What you should wear out on the water when you're fishing here in San Diego? Layers. And that's the key, because you're probably not going to get very wet because you're going to go out on a nice day, but just be prepared for layers because it can get pretty cool on the water. You know, summertime is always the best, from I would say June through September, but prime months actually in San Diego, September, October are probably the 2 prime months. Best water conditions and probably the most abundance of fish. So as far as taking your fish home, they'll fillet the fish for you on the boat and put it into a package for you, or you can use one of the local processors like Fisherman's Processing that'll vacuum seal and freeze your fish so that you can put it in your cooler and take it home and eat it. Depending on how long your excursion is, you can go anywhere from a half-day trip for around $50 plus your license, all the way up to a multi-day trip that maybe costs several $100s per day. But a full-day trip is going to cost you about $150 a day, depending on the Mexican license or California licenses that you need to get.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's Premium Boost is powered by the Mightier 1090. Kaplan and Crew tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
I've been a part of this community for a long time, and giving back is what we do. That's why I'm so excited to tell you about the San Diego Giving Back Raffle, a benefit for Ronald McDonald House Charities of San Diego. Grand prize is this $4 million luxury home, or you could win a car, vacation, or cash. Everyone is guaranteed to win a prize. And you'll feel good knowing your raffle purchase goes to help families like the Lechugas. Get your tickets now for the San Diego Giving Back Raffle.
Don't worry, Gracie. The curtain only goes up when everyone has a part to play. Whoa, okay, I gotcha. Uh-oh, whoa, watch out for those audio cables.
I'm gonna be sick.
To the left!
I am not going out there without Gracie.
Neither am I. A little help?
No pressure.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio, SoCal Sports Talk.